Hello everyone out there in the world. This is Black American Indian, and this video will be in regards to the connection I have with I'm gonna get it right, Purepecha people. I've been in contact with a few people via YouTube, and I have to admit I did not get one negative interaction with anyone in regards to this topic. It's really sad because if you refer to indigenous populations in the US, I get all kinds of hate. And this topic, as far as my connection with indigenous population outside of the US, the people who can vouch for their identities with that particular group, no problems. Actually, they're like, congratulations. Congratulations, with your discovery, blah, blah, blah. So again, I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to show my appreciation for all of the support that I've been receiving. I am like a sponge. I love genealogy. I love history when it's accurate and not one-sided. So this is new for me. 2 years ago, I discovered, if you want to say, that there is a huge black presence in parts of, Mexico, Central America, South America. I mean, I pretty much knew about South America and the Caribbean, but I was clueless when it came to Mexico and Central America. Clueless. So anyway, this is exciting. This is really exciting. Again, the results that I received is based on the databases through DNAtribes.com. And they do not have a database thus far with Southeast indigenous populations, excluding the Lumbee. They do have a database for them. But as far as everyone else in the Southeast, I guess they figured, well, it's too much mixing with other races for us to even have an accurate database for those people to test and compare their results to, but whatever. So the next best thing was my connection with the Purepecha people. One person, I believe it's a he, lives out in Oregon. I forgot your username. I apologize, your screen name. But you mentioned that you live out in Oregon, and there's a huge population of Purepecha people in Canada as well. And yeah, I'm like, wow. I learn something new every day. I thank you so much. I really want to learn more about this group of people because I'm connected to them, apparently significantly, not just 5 or 6 generations, or whatever back. Apparently this is kind of close, like really, really close. And see, I'm just going to put it out there. My mother was not raised by her biological mother. She was raised by her father's parents. So she pretty much was raised by her paternal grandparents. So her maternal side of the family, she's clueless, knows nothing about it. And those who've been looking at my videos, you pretty much can see what this woman looks like. Her name is Dolly Smith, and she married a Thompson. So anyway, she died in a car accident back in '72, and that's pretty much all I know about this woman, and I really don't know much about her. My mother said when she was 7, her mother visited her at her paternal grandparents' house along with her mother. So my mother's maternal grandmother. And she said she just remembered vaguely how her grandmother looked, her maternal grandmother looked. And she said that She was very quiet. She didn't really talk much. You know, older lady, kind of short, petite. She said that she looked very, very light, if not like Native American and white, maybe not even black. And then she said that she remembered her grandmother sat on the ground with her because she was playing in the dirt, apparently. And her grandmother played with her in the dirt. She just got on the ground with her and started playing with her in the dirt. And I think my mother said she traced something in the sand, or not the sand, the dirt, with a stick. Who knows what? Maybe she was just doodling. But that's the only thing she remembers. That's it. That was the last time she saw her mother, and the last time she saw her grandmother, her maternal grandmother. So, long story short, I know nothing about that side of the family. I don't know. I've done genealogy, and I know I could go back to about maybe 1860s, maybe 1850s. So if I can go back in the records way back in that time, prior to the end of slavery, and find a name, a family, they weren't slaves. Slaves didn't have names until 1865, and in some states it actually extended slavery for a couple of years, actually, which was, you know, kind of awful. So, long story short, I am, in my research, I'm about, I think I'm back to, like I said, 1850s on that side of the family through my mother's side of the family. If you kind of understand that. So her mother's maiden name, my maternal great grandmother's maiden name was Moore, and my maternal great grandfather's name, surname was Smith. So you have Smith and Moore, and again, my grandmother, who is my mother's biological mother, she married a Thompson, because according to her death records or her death certificate, she died with a surname Thompson. So there you go. Anyway, so I really don't know much about these people. I do know that rumor has it that my maternal grandmother ended up having more kids. So I have a lot of half uncles and aunts I know nothing about. And I think in the 70s, my mother met one of her uncles, and his name was Dot Henry Smith, or Dot, I'm assuming, was a nickname. So he came by to visit back in the 70s. And I think he died maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. So he was around. And that's the thing. It's so sad. We have family that literally lives in the same freaking county, maybe a town over, and I don't know them. They look familiar. They look at me kind of strange, like I think I know who she is, but they don't really say much. And it's sad. But anyway, that's how it is. But yeah, so my maternal great-grandmother had more kids, and she never, I don't think she remarried again, but the man that she was living with and having kids with, or you could call it, I guess, common law marriage, his surname was Carter, and they lived in Boyton, Virginia, which is in the same county same county that my mother was living in, but, you know, she really didn't know who her grandmother was, which is sad. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? So anyway, that's as far as the Purepecha people. And I look at my maternal grandmother's picture, which I only have one. To me, she looks indigenous. And indigenous can be anywhere on the Western Hemisphere, if you ask me. At this point, with all of my research, borders mean nothing. It really means nothing. Just because there's a border and now you have a line to separate two countries, that doesn't mean that people didn't migrate. And according to the results I got back, and even genealogy, is like sometimes people just disappear from the records. It's like, what happened to them? It's like, where did they go? And then they jump back into the records again, you know, like 20 years later. And I'm like, what happened? Did they leave the country? What? You know, so people move around. So I know a lot of people feel like, oh, in order to connect with an indigenous community or population, you have to stay together. You can't, you know, leave the family, and once you leave, then you're no longer considered a member, and blah blah. People move around. People sometimes leave without their families. I mean, come on. Even like my daddy's generation, most of his siblings moved away. The point is, they're still family. We acknowledge them. And we know they live up north for the jobs. And now they're migrating further south because of the jobs. You know, things change. But the point is, there was like 14 kids. And my daddy is the youngest out of his group. And out of all 14, only 2 stayed home. 2 didn't move away. But we're still family. We still come together. We still have our reunions and things of that nature. I don't understand why tribal communities can't be that way in the U.S., but it is what it is. So anyway, back to the Parapeche people. So I feel very excited to be connected to this wonderful group of people. I'm still learning. Please forgive me for my pronunciation of the term. But I'm getting better. I have this thing about rolling the tongue, you know, with the R's. I'm still working on that. Believe it or not, I had 2 years worth of Spanish in high school. And I know basic Spanish, but as far as fluent, past tense, I think once I got to past tense, I just like, well, you know what, this is, I can pick up words and I can kind of understand words, of course. The area I live in is a huge population of Spanish-speaking people. I mean, there's been a couple of occasions where this woman, she knew who I was, and I had to work with her because she worked for another company, but you know, the companies, they did business together. So she would speak Spanish. I mean, she would speak English to me pretty much every day. And like one evening, I think it was a Friday, and it was kind of like maybe late afternoon, and I was just finishing up some things that I was doing. And then she started speaking in Spanish to me, and I'm like, I don't understand you. And then she had this little attitude, like she got offended, like I didn't know Spanish. So I don't know if she just assumed that I knew Spanish and she wanted to see, you know, like, oh, this girl, she has to be, you know, Spanish, or she looks like she's Spanish. Well, Spanish doesn't have a phenotype. Spanish is a language. So let me start over. This girl looks like she could speak Spanish because she looks like people that speak Spanish. I don't know. But anyway, so, yeah. Back to my point. I've been in contact with a few people on Facebook, and long story short, I'm starting to learn about the connection between, let's just say Mexico or Central America, just for lack of time, and Southeast indigenous populations in the U.S. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and I will continue it with a response that I got from Facebook.